The school called. Your daughter hasn't been picked up. It's been 3 hours. I said, my name is Lena Hale. I'm 28. I'm an architect in Portland. I thought I was ordinary. Then one phone call rewrote my entire life. The call came on a Tuesday. 6:42 p.m. I was at my desk, my fingers black with charcoal from a sketch. I was designing a library, a quiet, safe building. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. This is Lena Hale. A woman's voice tight with frustration. Miss Hale, this is Cresview Elementary. Your daughter hasn't been picked up. It's been 3 hours. I stopped breathing. The charcoal pencil rolled off my desk and snapped on the floor. I said, you have the wrong number. I don't have a daughter. Silence. Then the woman sighed. A sound so tired it hurt. Is this Lena Hale? 4500, Westland Drive. Yes, but then she's your daughter. She's right here. She's the last one, Ms. Hale. We've been calling for hours. My first thought, a prank. My second, why did she sound so sure? I'm telling you, I don't have a child, I said again. My voice was shaking. She's asking for you. By name, I hung up. I stared at the wall. My heart was a hammer. I didn't have a daughter. I knew my own life, but I grabbed my keys. I don't know why. I had to see the face of the lie. But before I tell you how everything flipped, like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Where, clears throat, are you watching from? The drive to the school was only 15 minutes. It felt like an hour. My knuckles were white on the steering wheel. The rain was heavy and the windshield wipers made a terrible screaming sound. Screech. Thump. Screech. Thump. This is a mistake. I kept saying it. A stupid clerical error. Someone with the same name. It happens. But the woman's voice. She's asking for you by name. How could a child I've never met ask for me? Maybe it was a trap, a scam. Someone wanted to get me to a dark school, but that made no sense. This was an elementary school, not a dark alley. I pulled into the parking lot. It was empty except for one red sedan parked near the entrance. The building was dark, just like the woman said. Only one light was on. The main office. I sat in my car for a full minute. My heart was high in my throat. I felt cold. Go in. Prove them wrong. Go home. I got out of the car. The rain hit my face. I didn't have an umbrella. I ran to the glass doors and pulled. They were locked. I knocked. A moment later, the woman from the phone appeared. She looked at me, then unlocked the door. Thank God, she said. She was in her 50s with tired hair and a grey cardigan. I'm Mrs. Davies. I'm Lena Hale, I said, water dripping from my hair onto the floor. I think there's a serious mistake. I am not a mother. I don't have a child. Mrs. Davies did not look surprised. She just looked sad. She crossed her arms. You're telling me you've never seen her before? Seen who? I don't know who you're talking about. She's been here all day, Mrs. Davies said. She sounded angry now. Angry at me. As if I was a terrible parent who was lying. She had a normal day. She went to class and at 3:30 no one came. We called the number on the emergency form. We called your number. I felt like I was in a nightmare. What form? I never filled out a form. She's just down the hall, Mrs. Davies said. She pointed. See for yourself. I looked past her. The school was dark. The lockers were a dull grey-green. The smell. It was floor wax, wet rain, and that faint sweet smell of cafeteria food. And at the end of the hall, on a long wooden bench, sat a little girl. She was tiny. She was sitting perfectly still, her knees tucked up to her chest. Her feet in little pink sneakers didn't touch the floor. She had on jeans and a purple jacket. Beside her on the bench was a backpack. It was shaped like a white rabbit. I didn't move. Mrs. Davies stood behind me, watching me, waiting. Go on, she said. I took a step. My shoes squeaked on the tile. Squeak, squeak. The sound made the little girl look up, her head lifted. She turned and all the air left my body. I stopped. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It was my face. It was my face looking back at me. It was my blonde hair. It was my green eyes, the same shade, the kind people always called too bright. And then I saw it just above her lip on the left side. A tiny white scar. A vertical line. I got that scar when I was 6. I was on the swing set at my grandmother's house. I tried to jump off. I fell. I hit my face on the metal pole. I have seen that scar in the mirror every single day of my life. And this little girl had it. My hand went up to my own mouth. I touched my scar. The little girl just watched me. She wasn't scared. She looked relieved. She stood up from the bench. She took one step toward me and she whispered it. "Mommy." It was not a question. It was a statement. "No," I whispered. I took a step back. I bumped into Mrs. Davies. "No," I said louder. "I don't know you. This isn't possible." The little girl's face crumbled. She didn't cry. She just looked lost. Her eyes filled with tears, but they didn't fall. She looked at me like I was the one who was crazy. "But Daddy said you would come." A man came out of the office. He was wearing a tie. "Mr. Henderson," Mrs. Davies said. "The principal, Ms. Hale," he said. His voice was gentle. "I'm glad you're here. We were very worried about Lily." "Lily," I repeated. The name meant nothing. "I am not her mother," I said. My voice was shaking. I was starting to panic. The walls felt too close. I have never seen this child before. This is a mistake or a crime. I don't know what it is, but she is not mine. Mr. Henderson frowned. He looked at Mrs. Davies. He looked back at me. "Ms. Hale, I understand you're upset, but she was enrolled here last August by a man who listed you as the primary guardian." "A man who?" "He's listed as the father," Mr. Henderson said. He went into the office. I followed him. The little girl stayed by the bench. He opened a file. "This is the enrollment packet." He turned it around and I saw it. All the forms, emergency contacts, medical history, authorization to pick up, and at the top in the mother guardian box was my name, Lena Hale, my address, my new address in Portland, my cell phone number, and my signature. It was my signature. I am an architect. My signature is specific. The fast sharp L, the high crossed H in Hale. It was perfect. It was my handwriting. But I had never ever written it. I stared at the paper. I felt the blood drain from my face. I put my hand on the desk to stay standing. Who brought this in?" I whispered. "I don't know," Mr. Henderson said. "It was in her file when she transferred here. We assumed it was you." "This is a forgery," I said. "Ms. Hale," he said, his voice firm but kind. "That's a very serious accusation. The fact is this child is here. She says you are her mother. Your name is on this form. We've been calling you. You are her guardian. I cannot let her go home with anyone else. And I cannot keep her here." He was right. He was trapped. And he had just trapped me. I looked back down the hall. The little girl, Lily, she was watching me, waiting as if she knew I was her only ride. What could I do? Call the police. 911. What's your emergency? There is a child who looks just like me and she has my scar and my name is on a form I didn't sign. I would sound insane. I couldn't leave her here. They would call child services and what if she was no, I had to solve this. And I couldn't solve it in a school lobby. I took a deep breath. "Okay," I said. My voice was dead. "I'll take her." Mrs. Davies let out a long breath. "Thank you. Just sign her out for us." She handed me a clipboard. I picked up the pen and I signed my name, my real signature, right next to the fake one. They looked exactly the same. I walked back to the girl. She looked up at me. "Hi," I said. My voice was a croak. "Hi, Mommy. My name is Lena," I said. "You can call me Lena." She looked confused. "Okay." I reached out my hand. "Let's go." She put her small, warm hand in mine. It fit perfectly. I walked out of that school holding the hand of a stranger who had my face. We got in the car. I put her in the back seat. I didn't have a car seat. I didn't even think about it. I just drove. The drive home was silent. Just the screech thump of the wipers. In the rearview mirror, I watched her. She was just looking out the window. Are you hungry? I asked. The silence was too much. Yes, she whispered. What do you like to eat? Macaroni. I stopped at the grocery store. I ran in. I bought a blue box of macaroni and cheese. I bought milk. I bought apple juice and a box of cookies. The cashier smiled at us. She's beautiful, the cashier said. Looks just like you. A mini-me. I just nodded. I couldn't speak. I paid. I left. I drove to my clean, quiet adult apartment. The one with glass tables and white walls. The one with my blueprints and charcoal sketches. My life. I walked into my apartment and I held the door open for a child who called me mommy. My life was over. I was the victim of a crime. A crime I couldn't even name. My apartment felt wrong. It was too quiet. The grey minimalist furniture looked cold and sharp. This was not a place for a child. Lily stood in the entryway, dripping water on my hardwood floor. She held her rabbit backpack in front of her. She looked like a little soldier. You can put your bag down, I said. I sounded like a stranger. She put it by the door. Are you really hungry? She nodded. Okay, macaroni. I can do that. I went into my kitchen, my beautiful steel kitchen. I almost never cooked. I opened my cabinets. I had pasta. I had wine. I had coffee. I had to find the pot I bought 3 years ago and never used. I found the blue box. I read the instructions. Boil water. Add pasta. It felt stupid. My world was ending and I was boiling water. I could feel her watching me. I turned. She was sitting at my dining room table. Her hands were in her lap. What's your name? I asked again. I needed to hear her say it. Lily. Lily. That's a pretty name. Oh,